Yay, we're live. Starting an hour earlier than yesterday. All right. I said we're going to be doing the red Slaad. Which letter opener? Let's go with the dragon wing again because it's close. Actually, no, let's just go with the froggy because the Slaad is a frog. Demonic looking frog from Limbo. That may or may not be related to the other frog demons. Oh, hexed lichen. Okay, it looks like violet ink. Take them out the box. The colors we have to work with today for this red boy are, which is a welcome break from yesterday's green boy. That was Beastie Brown, Dark Sea Green, Hexed Lichen, Light Flash, Black Green, Parasite Brown, Refractive Green, Park Green Flat again, Black Red, and Black. All right. Oh, excuse me. As you walk in the thick fog, you swear you can hear shuffling steps behind you. Every time you turn, though, there's no one to be seen. You pick up your pace, but grasp your dagger to be safe. Sensing something, once again, you spin around. And, without warning, a grinning toward you with claw extended. It's now up to you to defeat this aberration or become its next victim. I think they're listed as aberrations, but, they're just being metaphorical. Let's set aside our multi-purpose and fine detail brushes. Whoops. Dwarves are falling into my new paintbrush holder. My new old paintbrush holder. I decorated it when I was a child. I need that paint cup because I use this on hand for holding the paints so they don't run away. Actually, let's switch these two back because I was having a heck of a time yesterday when I had the paint on this side and the blotter on that side. Got my Rolodex of greens, Citadel greens here. All right, I think we're going to do these Oni while we let the Slaad dry. But we will see. Where's our frog letter opener? If it's sharp enough. I don't think it is. Let's go back to the dragon wing. Cut the tape in both places on this side. Cut the tape in both places on that side. Is that enough to cut loose? Alright. The Limbo background we have for purposes. Set that aside for later. I'm going to take him out of here. I do like using these to hold on to the miniatures, but I think I'm going to take him out one straight to the washes to get into all the nooks and crannies, all the little details. If you're worried about mold lines and seams, there's a bit of a mold line across the back of the arms and here on the edges of his upper half, along with a matching V there. This one's actually bad enough that I might want to take it off. Got one of these X-Acto knives, small handle. Number 4, I didn't realize I already had one. The Stencil Cutting and Decorative Template size. Careful, where did that run off to? Huh. Set the knife down. Where did that brush run off to? Not that we don't have a ton of other ones, but the less stuff we have to chase down later, the better. Okay. There we go. Just do a light scrape. We don't want to lose the texture, but we do want to lose that extra ridge there, because the wash will really bring it out. And when I was messing with the Dire Troll yesterday, trying to go with it, still wasn't avoiding it well enough, wasn't camouflaging that mold line. Hardest miniatures I've had to try to remove mold lines from was, I believe, a Spectator, or whatever Reaper called it, the Beholderkin Spectator type. Any other egregious ones? Let's go with this part of the arm. It's just the nature of molds. You're going to get mold lines. I've been trying to ignore them recently, but this one just seems especially egregious. Oop. Inside the thumb. Whoop. Taking off a little too much thumb. Ah, how much thumb did we take off? There we go. Alrighty, I think that's enough. I said I may or may not deal with the Oni today because they probably have a bunch of mold lines, being from the Bones collection. Although it will give me a chance for the Slaad to dry. Probably paint the lion from Reaper Bones 3 Wizard of Oz collection. So Tin Man appears to be some kind of Warforged. The Witch is a classic witch. Scarecrow is pretty fearsome. Dorothy and Toto. Oh, and they do have the... Oh, wait, no, they don't. I thought they had the names on here. Just the copyright date. Flying Monkey. But the lion looks like Hellboy. Although he's very well dressed. He's got like a three-piece suit. And trench coat. Set these aside. I finally started going through some of my Reaper Bones 3 stuff. This pile here are the dwarves and some of the barbarians. We're leaving that on there. So was one of these a red wash? No. Do I have a red wash maybe? Or do we want to go with like a brown wash? I don't know. Let's shape these paints before we unwrap them. And drink water while we do so. Now, Brad Linder, comic book artist extraordinaire. I'm going to finish listening to this Viced Rhino video on Flat Earth debunking. Maple wash, maybe? Redwood wash. From the Testers Creates line of acrylic washes that I did get from Hobby Lobby years ago. Originally $6.50. I got it for $2.33. They've been marked down twice. $13mm, 1/2 inch. Let's get some redwood wash on here. Get it down into the mouth. There's another egregious mold line on this thumb. I'm going to egregiously ignore it. original bones material tends to be hydrophobic, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do the wash first. Yeah, no. Let's get comfy. Painting the D&D miniatures red Slaad. I tried to send you the link, but Facebook Messenger bots are seeing it as spamming people. Drink water. All right, I want to start with black red, but we'll go with yesterday's black red to see if it's, yeah, since I already opened it, I don't want to open a fresh one today because that was pretty disappointing. A lot of these are already spent. They're already pretty ruined. Let's go down a brush size or two. So not the 10 mil. I don't think I want to go that small. Where's the other one? There we go. Let's go with the 6 mil. Since it's bones, we're just going to go straight on there. We can paint over the jewelry later. So, oh, good. Thought I wasn't on camera, but we're starting with black red. So some black cherry Kool-Aid. One of my favorite flavors of Kool-Aid. This a little bit further out of the way. I want to rest my hand there. Alright. Get this gun show going. Yeah, see, there's a mold line. This step, it doesn't matter as much because we're just going with straight up paint, paint, paint. This looks pretty similar to whatever it was that I tried to use on my orcs color for their base tone, base coat. I don't know if with base, layer, highlight, contrast. So I don't know if the, but this black cherry, black red is a pretty good base color. Nice and thick and full of pigment. Get up against there because we can paint over the hair later. whatever little mistakes we make. To get down into all these little details because this is serving as, well, the base, but it's serving as the base layer where I would normally wash. It's not there. Come on, come on. Drag down. Find myself. Make sure everything's working. Oops. Getting a little too tacky here. Get the face right up against the hairline. I have the loudest chair on YouTube, or at least the squeakiest. I've got a gaming chair I salvaged, but I haven't gotten a new piston for it. Let's turn my volume for myself down. Just need to use that to make sure the signal's still working and to keep my mind on my train of thought. For too much of the detail, I know I'm glumping it on pretty thickly here. For those of you who are playing in my Eberron campaign, don't think that just because I'm painting something, it's something you're going to be facing anytime soon. I'm willing to use unpainted miniatures if the story calls for it. But if I happen to have the miniature painted, so much the better. Oh, get back here. Alright, so I do have some Yeti from the one of the Hero Quest expansions. Can't remember the name, but it's the one that comes with the elves, so maybe it's just the elf expansion. But I already painted the Yetis and the Winter Wolves and stuff from there. But then Reaper Bones 3 has Yetis as well, so I'll probably paint those up since I've already got my colors decided. Get down in the groove of the toes. Also of note for my players, I've got plenty of miniatures, so if you want to paint your own for your character, or your character's animal companion or mount or what have you, you can paint your own, or I will prioritize painting yours for you. Because I'd rather have the PCs in color than the monsters. But NPCs can go either way. Like all these dwarves I've got here. I don't know if we're going to the Dwarven Roarholds of Eberron. I'm gonna go ahead and go with red for the horns as a base coat. If I want to lighten it up, at least I'll have it painted on there. Looks like one of those pinchy beetles. Just need to add a little bit of brown shell or where the shell would be. Give him a tan belly. And suddenly he's a demon beetle Oni. Almost looks like he's wearing Mickey Mouse gloves here with how the bangles are going. Let's get the skin in between the bangles. I need to get these fingers a little bit better. Black cherry. I don't have Kool-Aid on hand, but I do have Sunkissed drink mix. Sunkissed strawberry. These fingers, at least the grooves. Always be rotating. Some of that's got to change to the weapon color. Maybe I'll bend it into shape and then throw it in the freezer later. Now you're supposed to heat it up first, but it's just such a minor issue that it might be effective regardless. Oh, hey, they slot that in there. I don't know if I want it slotted in there. All right, I think that's enough coverage on him. Oops. Oh. Maybe. Oh, okay. So yeah, the legs. I thought both of them had this because she's got like conquistador style, at least Holly of conquistador. Can we drop down lower but still get? There we go. Maybe. Let's clean this out because it's getting pretty gunked up. But yeah, it looked like she was wearing the tall boots and the conquistador pants, but she's only wearing the brace of armor on the one leg. So, I guess I'm tight. And let's start with this leg since there's a whole lot of exposed flesh here. Let's try to go a little bit lighter on the amount of paint. So we don't need it as thick as I put it on the other guy. We just need to get the paint to give the next layer something to stick to. Although we do want to get down between the toesies and along the base and stuff. Got a hair in there. Her loot bag? Whatever that is she's holding against her leg. Oh. Try to stay on camera here. Where do these fuzzies come from? The front of the leg behind the bag. And get this foot. Like, he's scary, but she's probably scarier. If she has to come take care of business, you guys are boned. Just trying to come up with some backstory for them before I actually use them. So she's got armor all the way down except maybe the fingers here. Slaad still looks a little wet. I know Slaad is a version of the plural, but these fingers. Get that face. And the part of the hair. Okay, so her armor does cover her chest. Although it looks like a clavicle is exposed over on her right side. Under the chin. The way the paint is on her face totally changed her expression. I can't tell if she's about to spit out some dip or if she's got one of those, ooh, that's gotta hurt reactions from her brother getting slammed by the PCs. Oh, we know she's still invisible and she's just gonna come clean up. She's gonna mop up the adventurers, and they're not gonna know. They're just gonna be whacked. There's those horns. Can't tell if her ear is showing or not. But we'll put some paint on there and see what it looks like. A little bit more on the leg. Set her aside to dry. Oops. Alright. Let's check to see how tacky this is. Still very, but we can wick some of it away. Make it easier to have a heat gun or hair dryer on hand to speed this up. Let's get him right under the chin and pop him out of there. Come on. Ooh. They really stick them in there. All right. Don't really need to touch up the toes with the wash, so. Let's get a little bit more of this wicked away. And this brush back out, drink some water, since we're sticking to this shade. At least I think I'm sticking to this shade. Yeah. And base coat in this shade. Are their eyes supposed to be the same color as they are? I would think a red Slaad would have yellow eyes, but I'll hold off on that till the end. Try to dry brush some of this on there. Alright, there we go. Not dry enough. At least not that spot. And if it's pulling your wash off, if you do it wash first, then it's not dry enough. Let's shake the paint a little bit more. Drink some water. Maybe I'll do the liver and color as well from this entrails and bone piles set. Bone pile is ready. Let's go back up a size because of how big the Slaad is. Let's see if this will work for us. Still a bit wet. Just trying to get a little bit of this color on there. Just to darken things up. Not too happy with the wash on this one. Yes, I'm trying to dry brush over the knuckles, but I see the spots that I missed on the knuckles. With these nice big muscular frog legs. I hear a snoring kitty. Aw, Arthur. He is snoring into my shoe. He's using my shoes as pillows. Lately he's been putting his face down in my shoe. Poor buddy. That's too much paint. I should have blotted that. Should have, could have, would have, didn't. Get these toes with this color. And black cherry. Wonder what he would have looked like if I'd used the violet ink the other day. For an example, here's a beholder. Violet ink gives us some darn good coverage. I don't know if the hexed lichen is supposed to be the same, if it's an ink or if it's a dry. Well, I mean, the way it looks like a dry brush kind of layer. These knuckles a lot better. Gonna leave the palms in the wash color. Notice where the fingers transition from palm to back of the hand pigment. Get the inside there. Just go dip some more paint and get these, whoa, fingers. A lot of wash, still just pulled in there. So maybe we won't go to these fingers yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. That's gunky, but it's kind of like painting Tongue Lashore from He-Man. One of the figures I had. Apparently I was a bigger fan of these Kings than I was of regular He-Man villains. Just kind of stippling it on there. And just a little bit more paint on the bristles. A little bit more of our black cherry. Eek. So the froggy pectoralis muscles are kind of covered by the lower jaw waddle. I need to start wearing gloves when I do this, or at least glove. Paint off just by touching it. See that mold line? I trimmed it down some, but it's still pretty noticeable. Maybe we'll use that as a transition zone for colors. Blot it on. Let's clean the brush a little bit. Swipe, 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 swipe. Just trying to hit the raised edges. Not quite dry brushing, but still the same idea. Still trying to get the colors in the same spots as dry brushing. Even if it doesn't get quite the And I said worry about that transitional spot, but we have a spot with no paint there, probably because of a mold line. Sloppy, 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 sloppy. Want to get in and around all these spikes and bumps and nodules. So the next layer is going to be above that. Hopefully able to actually brush the next layer on. Alright. I'm going to leave this lighter like I did with the palms because it's the under wattle. Get the inner legs. A little bit more coverage. Front of the feet. Do want to go this way more though. I'll leave that part of the mouth the same as the other maybe. Not too bad. I mean, rough as heck, but still not too bad. This side. What's the back of his hand looking like? Oop, back of that arm too. No paint there. I don't know. Ride home tomorrow night after work. I work 3 to 8, so it might be pretty late if I film tomorrow. If I go live. I'm trying to do it every night. 1, to get content up, and 2, to get models painted. You know what they say? When you get all of your miniatures painted, then you pass away. but I'd at least like to have them all painted. Now we're going to put a black on the clothes anyway, so we don't really need to touch that up. I'll try the regular black it's lucky like. Excuse me, but then I think I'm going to put brushed black folk art on instead. Like I did for the base of the bone claw. And so we're switching colors. It's been about an hour. So I'm going to switch paint water, switch paper towel, and use the restroom. Yeah, I tried not to bite off more than I can chew tonight, so it should be a little easier to finish a project. Because it took me 5 hours to do the first night, 3 hours the second night, 3 hours last night, but that was because my internet dropped my stream, so I decided to call it quits. I touched up some models after that, I think, but not much. I'll be right back. How's my water looking? Tonight's dinner was chief tacos. And toe. You want to drink the same? Do you want to drink the same? Do you want to drink the same? Gonna put on a of. Hopefully I stop sticking to the paint. Yep, I did the balloon trick with the glove to try to unkink it, and it worked. Probably should have done it on camera. It feels weird, especially putting this on my left hand, because my residuals from my stroke in 2017 already feels like this extra layer of, oh, that's like dividing by 0. Okay. Yeah, it feels like I'm wearing a glove with my left hand, even if I'm not, if I rub the layers against each other. Now that I am wearing a glove, it doesn't know what to do. It's definitely not as bad as it left that open. That's a pretty foul. Paint these livers. With the black cherry. Probably have to touch them up once I take them out of the pile. I've got a glove on now. We can take them out of the pile. All right. What is hanging down there? Huh. Anyway. Stick you back down there. Pop this one out before we start. Let's pop these guys out now for next time we get around to bone colors. This is Skin Wash, what I nickname Tangerine Dream. Alright, just deliver. Set that there. Close up shop on this one. Let's go to heavy red next. I'll stick with this size, 1/4 inch or 6 mil. These brushes are meant more for painting canvas. Because they're longer than the regular hobby ones, but makes it a little bit more of a comfort grip with the thickness, much like with the Crayola triangular grips. Which I also like to use. Yes, I was just debating whether or not to use that. Can't tell if this is dry because it looks pretty glossy. So I'll come back to them later and get this Slaad finished. We have the heavy red. Ooh. Good thing this is the one that's already open, because, yeah, that is yummy. Right, where's the biggest of our brushes? Get some water. Try to revitalize this a little bit. Less is more. Not that I did less is more this time. I put about 2 extra droops, because it's more than a drop. Break up the chunk of pigment. Like adding water can revitalize your paints, but it also drops the shelf life. So that's why I want to use up these ones while I can. Alright. Since we were mostly dry brushing that on, he appears to be dry. Is there any gradient difference here? Barely, but that's all we need is barely. Because we're leaving the light things light and making the dark things brighter. Leaving a little bit of the dark showing. Just taking the color up a notch. Dry brushy. Oops. Yeah, with the water, it's counterintuitively with the water, it's better at the dry brushing. Well, it's not too late for me to make the whole belly lighter. Let's get the outside of this leg. Oh, that's a lot of paint. That's the leg, so it doesn't matter as much because they've got a lot further to go. Touch up the biceps. Outside of the leg. All the way to the glutes. I think we're gonna... Nope, we're going there. I was gonna change the paint here, but I'll do that with the next layer. I'll make the belly really light, but I'll make the top highlighted light. Get the thigh, the calf, the ankle, the foot. Since they've got these reversed legs, the chicken walk thing going on. Is the word pronated? Huh. Who is watching? Says I've got an audience of 2. If there's anyone downrange, make yourself known by sight or sound. Frog butt, frog butt, frog butt. Yeah, we're gonna leave that with the belly color a bit, I think. Nope, because we've already made that choice on this side. Oh, we lost our other viewer. We haven't hit the head yet, have we? thank you, Pinterest notification showing me that my battery is indeed charging. Shoulders. Until they did the paint night kit, and it was available in the buy two get one free for the Black Friday sale at Freedom Games in North Canton. Right. If you go down to the strip, it's to the left instead of down where the strip is at that exit portage. A little bit more. I'm liking the differences in colors. Alrighty. So where are we going next with the colors? Give him a minute. Whoa! I said give him a minute. There we go. Let's try here. Is it pulling pigment? I think it's pulling pigment. Try to get these abs and pectorals on this Oni. This guy's got lats. Friends don't let friends suffer from imaginary lat syndrome. Yes, ILS affects 10% of all men at the gym. They can't put their arms down because they think they're that muscular. Do you even lift bra? Brightening it up. Get those traps, or at least that trap. Okay, they're both showing. I don't know if his hair was covering it on both sides or one side. If any of this is wet, it'll just be wet blending. Outside of the legs. Almost looks like I just used the dark flesh wash on him, which is usually my first step when it comes to humans and elves and dwarves, oh my. Probably half works. I'm not sure about regular works. All depends on what final color I want to go with them. I've been going with like a snake bite leather color for them lately. A little bit more on the back. I get some coverage on this black cherry with this not quite black cherry. It's not regular cherry by comparison. It's still dark. All right. Oops, he's got a blank spot there. And I'll write your name. Oops. Get down there next to his clothes. All right. So he can, whoops. Oh, hey, Jim. Got my painting light magnifier in the way this time, so I couldn't see that you joined. I started at 7:15 today to get an earlier start. We're working on the red Slaad and then a pair of Reaper Bones 3, like Lilu and Lilitu on Weird Miniatures, Malifaux, Neverborn characters, the twins. I don't know what they did in 2nd edition. I don't know what they do in 3rd edition, but in 1st edition, I believe they could summon one another. I know she had an ability much like the Bells, the zombie hookers, to lure characters to her. The fingers. Oh, okay. It's like, wait, her hair's going this way. What's that? But she's just got the like furs as padding under the armor. Enough on her, actually, since she doesn't have that much exposed flesh. Get the devil out of this. Where is it? Yeah, I do need to use Jack's Linseed Studio Soap sometime soon. Another one of my Hobby Lobby clearance items. I don't know if I'm going to do it here before I go over to my buddy's place at some point this weekend. I think Sunday. But I need to remember to bring it with me so that his wife can clean her brushes, or I can clean her brushes while I'm there, whichever. Alright, so we're going with a brighter red, but it's still a red, so I'm not going to change the water. But speaking of water, we're shaking the paint, we're drinking the water. Well, that's where I put him. I set aside this Wizkids gator, and I forgot where I sat it when I pulled out this Reaper Bones 3 gator. A good set of starter paints for miscellaneous minis. All depends on your preference. I do like these paint night kits because they're only $20. You get a large miniature to start with, and you get 12 colors, except in the case of the Dire Troll, where it had 2 copies of this Park Green flat. But I would recommend getting bigger brushes than they come with, because while these are good as fine detail and multi-purpose brushes, for anything bigger than details, get yourself, like, I think it's a $5 pack at Walmart. They come in there in little zipper pouches. I haven't popped this one open yet. This one might have more variety than you think you need, but you get these nice wedge-shaped brushes, or if you can get something more chisel-shaped, like the Taklon Golds I got here, which is a 4-pack set of angled brushes. I think they were only $5 or so. Craft paints work wonderfully. I know a lot of people diss on them, but that's because they haven't seen the wide variety of colors available. I started painting a bunch of my miniatures with just one of those 12 or 24 packs of paint from Walmart. Make sure you get the regular acrylics, not the like t-shirt acrylic, because that's not going to help. Although if you want to be able to wash it off and not worry about your mistakes, those might work. But yeah, I use a bunch of different paints. I'm trying to use these Vallejo ones, which Vallejo is a very good set of paint. It's just, you only get 0.2 ounces, 0.1 ounce per color, but pick a set of colors you like and you'll be good to go. Like, I started with the Manticore, 1 because it was the first one that, and 2 because I wanted to have those colors available. For painting my orcs and such. Ooh, that is a brighter red. Vermilion. Alright, what size are we going to go? Let's go down to the 3mm on the Oni. If they're dry, I don't think they are. I will go with a 3mm on the Oni. Let's stick to the 6mm on the Slaad. And let's make sure this thing is dry. Come on, what did I have to weight this down a minute ago? Arthur Buddy is using the facilities because he likes to dig. I can hear you rooting around over there. Just need something to hold this down. Citadel paints that you can find at actual gaming stores. They're good. Army Painter, which you can buy the matching colors for their spray rattle can primers, as well as their various layers of paint of color matching. So if you want to paint a bunch or a large miniature, then that might be the way to go, because the color you want them to be, and then do your detail colors. Ooh, you've been making 3D printer? Have you seen the Loot pirate set for March? Because I would love to get my hand on that thing. And it's available. The files come in 2 different scales. Okay. Can't remember if it's 25 or 32mm. and 75 millimeter. The ship comes apart and you can play on each layer. And it's $15 for 71 miniatures. You get a tavern. All right, so now we're actually dry brushing. Yeah, it's been an ad that's popped up on practically every YouTube video I've watched for the last few weeks. All right, now the actual colors. Yay. We're going to call this the cutoff point here where the arm shadow is. Need more paint than that to get the back. And the shoulder. We're trying to go between the spikes, but if we hit the spikes, no big deal because we're going to go, whoa. We're taking pigment off. I don't know if it's too many layers or if the wash hadn't fully cured on there yet. Follow the arm. Follow the arm. We've got paint in the lid, so we're going to use the paint from the lid. We want to come from the side here. Oh, get that glute, get that thigh. Oops, are we not on camera? There we go. A bit more up here. Inside of the frog eyes. Get these raised details. At least on my monitor, he's looking radioactive, where the vermilion is. Like the vermilion in the pot and the vermilion on the screen just looks radioactive on my older monitor here. I don't know if it's the refresh rate or contrast settings or what have you, but it is glowing. Huh, now it says I have 0 even though I'm viewing me and supposedly you're viewing me. Did we not get the top of the thighs already? Went with the outside of them, but we apparently didn't do the inside of them. Tops of the toesies. This isn't our highlight. This is our actual skin, so yeah, there's our shadow. Oh, we're losing pigment. We're pulling it off. Let's just use that like a glue. One of us is back. Back again. Do I have a decent orange-ish to use for the belly and mouth area? Probably leave the palms alone, but we'll see. Pata pata pata. Pata pata pata. Alright. That's enough on this guy for now. Let's go back to the Oni. Try to go smaller than we did with the other color. Not that you can really see the other color right now. The heavy red over the black red. We're actually dry brushing. Yeah, there's dry brushing. Picks up just the details. Get some muscle detail here. Not liking that mold line. Show you what I'm laughing about here in a second. Oop, definitely don't want that much paint there. So if you go to buy Testors paints, which are available at Michael's Crafts and some other places, they have both acrylics and enamels in the same kind of containers. Sometimes they have different color lids, sometimes they don't. But years ago, like I said, I started painting off and on in 99. All I had were some Testors paints, so I put with the same kind of pooling for colors as just doing a single color. So I don't know if that's good or bad. It just is what it is. Where did it go? dab the highlights on there. And a not quite dry brush. There we go. See, all these guys only do have 4 fingers. I thought I was seeing things on her hand because it was smaller. No, he's got 3 fingers and a thumb. Across the knuckles. Across the back. This guy's built like Brock Lesnar. Nothing but traps and lats. Like a cobra. Bipedal cobra. Cobra la 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 la. Or however their war cry goes. Not an iconic villain organization if you don't have a war cry. There we go. Get that foot. Get that spot we missed. This is rugged good looks, or at least rugged paint job. Let's get those abs. We didn't have enough paint on them a minute ago. I'm gonna get some of this face. Lemon face, lion face. Ooh. That made it pop. He's kind of the orc equivalent of Popeye the Sailor Man. He's got this big protruding chin. And the way the tusks stick out kind of looks like having a pipe sticking out of his mouth. A little bit more on the underside of the horns to use up some of the paint for the flex. Alright, well this Oni's coming along nicely. Let's get this color on her. So some vermilion on the legs. Cheating on the color placement a little bit to get maximum coverage with minimal effort. See just the 3 fingers there. No thumb there. but they're not like the Rakshasa where their hands are inverted. And they've had to learn to twist their hand completely around the other way to wield a weapon. Which I'm sure could lead to some interesting scenarios. Because while we would probably be more comfortable swinging in to block or parry, they probably would be more comfortable swinging out. So it's more likely you're going to get your weapon knocked away from you. Kind of like the difference between boxing against somebody who's left-handed when you're right-handed. Or if you're a baseball pitcher and you're dealing with a lefty batter. He's more likely to hit it to a different part of the field. Kind of gunky. Let's get that real quick. Get those knuckles. Speaking of Sonic and Knuckles, apparently there's an IGN contest to win furry controllers. I don't know if I'd want furry controllers, but hey. I'm sure somebody aftermarket will be selling furry controller covers. So you can get the same effect with hopefully a smaller price tag or investment. Hour 43. I'll leave that in there for a second. Ooh, hi. Do we have an even brighter red than vermilion, or are we like at the top? Oh, that leg's asleep. That leg is asleep. Got some kobolds over here. Some other random lizard people. Okay, the reds must be in the upper one. Well, here's our oranges, but let's try going with these before we bust out our colors that we already have. Although I know what these are like, so I'm just going to skip straight to Chacarero orange and Fire Dragon orange. And maybe Troll Slayer orange. Instead of trying to make an orange. Oh, here's yellow for the eyes, because I definitely want to see how that looks. Alright. Mephiston red and corn red. Corn red looks like we're already working with, but let's see what would Oh, wow. Yeah, that is gunked up in there. Gonna need some dish soap, or at least this linseed. All right. I think we're as red as we need to get though. But let's go ahead and try this Mephisto on the back here. See, it seems to be an even redder red. Let's go ahead and put this plastic carving knife to try to hold it open. I'm just gonna paint it right over top because we're just trying to get a different color to show up here. In this case, the brush is dry, but the paint is wet. Just trying to do this little shield of his back. Between the spikes. And up to about there. And we'll just go the rest of the head here. We're going to leave that spot in the middle because that's where the gem is. Because apparently the Slaadi each have a gem, or if they're not spawned at the spawning stone, if they go to the spawning stone later to spawn, they'll receive a gem that you can spell to pull it from the Slaad and control them. Alright. And I'll probably end up touching up on those more, but I want to make more progress with the Slaad. Get in there. Since we're switching colors, let's switch water. And the paper towel, because that is such a great job of telling you not to bottle up your emotions. We will be right back. Alright, kettle bodies. enjoy some. Enjoy your classic pate salmon. There we go. Hey, Lucy. Oh, that's what I was using to hold it down. All right, let's go ahead and get our oranges. I'm going to start with this base layer Jacaro orange. If we're shaking paint, what are we doing? We're drinking water. Okay, we got the red off of there. Let's get this belly painted. Yeah, we're just going to paint over everything we did with the red. Go with orange here. Then we can dry brush over that. Get the packs. At least for the belly. So if we used a darker pigmented orange, well, not darker, but a more pigmented orange instead of that redwood, then we'd have this look without having to do the extra painting. And we could skip straight to the brighter color. I will leave the wash down in those crevices though. Alright, so we're gonna come all the way up to here on the smile. No big deal if we hit the teeth, because we're just gonna paint over those in a minute anyway. I'm gonna go right up through here on the snoot. I'll get the front of the lip. Brushy, brushy, brushy. Let's try to get these palms. I wouldn't have, but it doesn't look like the paint really stuck or showed up well enough on the wash. All right, let's go to Let's get the smile a little better. But then I'm saying we go to the claws and maybe the barnacles or whatever. Then we'll come back to the belly. That way it has a chance to dry. Whoops. Alright, shake and paint. Going to use this presumably already open black. Like, I want to use this size brush, but I don't want to get the black on this one because I want to use it for the orange. Alright, so let's take from the lid, get these toenails. I believe these claws overcome damage reduction as both magical and chaotic weapons, because these guys are living embodiments of chaos existing on the plane of limbo. It's one of those what came first, the frog or the chaos kind of situations, because they may have been seasons and then the chaotic nature of the plane corrupted them further. And depending on which cosmogony you want to use, whether first, second, third, planescape, there's different origins for the Slaad and different permutations of them. By different permutations, I mean the Death Slotty and or Gray Slotty, and I believe also the green ones have different origins in different editions, since it wasn't until 3rd edition that the ones and blue ones make the red ones, and either of those can make green ones if they impregnate an arcane caster with their claws. So when they stab you, you have a chance of being impregnated with their tadpole, well, their egg that'll turn into a tadpole that'll then turn you into a non-player character, because you lose all memories. So you're no longer you. You're no longer your character. It's like a scarier version of what the Mind Flayers do. Because this is happening in combat and like, oh, suddenly you come down with the baby and you have a chest burster coming out of you. Ah, stay, stay, stay. Stay. Okay. Oh, not okay. You janked up the claws. Let's lay you back down this way so we don't have to hold you. Janked it up quite a bit. A nice smooth coat on there. I was going to say it's a nice glossy black, but now it's all chunky from getting bumped around and me putting an extra thick layer on to fix it. There we go. Since we blotted black in our water, we're going to want some new water. Right here to the kitchen. So I found my other land sharks, which I had painted this way. But the one I painted the other night, I painted reverse. So maybe I'll switch it up. Maybe they're different species. We'll see. Let's go back to our brush for orange. Let's go with the Fire Dragon Bright, and then we'll do highlights of Troll Slayer. Shaka, shaka, shaka. Drinka, drinka. Kind of clumpy. Let's add a little bit more water to this one. 2, 3, 4. Let's get comfy. Come on. These brush covers to help hold these kind of paint pots open. All right. Dab the paint off. We're trying to just dry brush over. Or not. Oops, don't touch the tootsies. Actually, let's not worry about dry brushing the belly, because if they're a frog or toad, they probably have a bit glossier, softer of a belly and more texture on the back. We'll try these wattle bumps. Smile. That very crocodilian hinge there. Get a little bit closer. Across the nose. Pretty sure I hear a helicopter. Got natural eyeshadow, basically. That's what we're going for here. Oop, that's a bit too much. That's too wet of a brush. There we go. I'm struggling here. All right. Palms. Oops. Palm Sunday. On Tuesday. While we let that dry, let's go ahead and it's like, where did I put that? The brushed gray? Yes, brushed dark gray. We're going to use that as our base. Oops, back here for me. Drink some Kool-Aid this time. Well, sun-kissed. You need a bit of paint because of the base. There's a good place to even hold on to it. Alright. So we need a nice big brush that we can mess up. That's a wash brush. Oh, let's go with this. Maybe. Oh, that one needs trimmed. Let's go with this one. Crayola brushes. This is a 6. Oop, it's trying to crawl away. Very substance of limbo itself. I'm going to move that glob out of the way. Yikes. I am being so sloppy with this. We've got a lot of ground to cover literally here. So I don't want to use a smaller brush, but I need to be extra careful because I am making a mess. Not good. Come on. Probably should have gone with the brush black first, because it does a lot better coverage in one layer. Try to sneak this all the way up as close as possible. We can touch that up afterwards because we're already going to have to touch up the other feet, the other parts of the feet. And since we got the gloves on, we can just get between the gloves and the model. Spin around a little bit, trying to get this empty spot. Variable, I'm going to have to touch this up, but alright. So maybe I should wear 2 gloves. No gloves, no loves. Stay. I'm not going to blot this brush because I don't want to ruin the paint water right now. I want to get onto this orange and this yellow. Grab a drink. Troll Slayer orange is orange as orange can be. And I thought the vermilion was radioactive on my monitor. Alright. Grab these Wizkids brushes. Precision detail brush seems to be thicker than the multi-purpose brush. Touch up around the eye. Careful, careful. Is that a fuzzy? I think if I do more Slaad in the future, I'm just going to make them less gritty and more solid color, slimy. Just get some random highlights here. Touch that up with better red. Back to the vermilion. A little bit on here. Thank you, Troll Slayer. Now let's go to Flash Gets Yellow. I don't know if I've already had to water this one down or if this is the way it came, but it is pretty watery. Alright, we just need to get the eyes. Let's go with the fine detail brush just because, like I said, it seems to be thicker, so I can just dot the eyes quite literally. Oh, well, it has eyes. It's alive now. Did they give them pupils? Oh, they gave them slotted pupils. Okay. I don't think he needs slotted pupils. I think he's scary enough. Alright, well, it's been 2 hours and 20. I just need to do some touch up on him and more detail on them sometime later. But I'm going to call it quits so I can go get some more Chief Tacos. At least one more. Alright, well, you guys have 2 hours and 22 plus minutes of catching up to do. Later, Jim. Later, Lucy. Let's peel this thing off. Good night, y'all. Ugh. Oh, okay. End stream for sure. Yes, please.